The world of global technology is being reshaped, not by a new invention or a sudden leap in scientific discovery, but by a powerful economic tool, the tariff. Once seen as a relic of the past, tariffs are now at the center of a high-stakes economic chess game. In August 2025, the US, under President Trump, launched aggressive tariffs targeting the tech sector, aiming to protect American industry, especially artificial intelligence and advanced computing. By making imported high-tech components from China more expensive, the US hopes to force companies to build factories and supply chains at home, sparking a new wave of domestic manufacturing and innovation. This marks a sharp break from decades of free trade, betting that economic pressure can secure technological supremacy and national security, even if it means upending old alliances and global norms. The most dramatic moves are in semiconductors. US tech giants like Nvidia and AMD must now pay 15% of their China sales to the government, a move that could reshape their global strategies. And there's talk of 100% tariffs on some products, a level that could make Chinese tech imports nearly impossible for many companies. Some even propose direct government stakes in companies like Intel, signaling a new era of state involvement in the tech sector. The goal? Break technological ties with China, reduce dependency and insulate American innovation from foreign influence. The vision is to build a self-reliant American chip ecosystem, where every stage of production happens on US soil. But this strategy is risky. Tariffs are a blunt tool, and their effects ripple far beyond their targets. Companies are scrambling to adapt, facing new costs and uncertainty. Supply chains are in chaos, with delays, shortages, and rising prices becoming the new normal for both businesses and consumers. International relationships are strained, as allies and rivals alike react to America's new approach. The big question: will this gamble pay off, securing America's place at the forefront of technology, or will it backfire, undermining America's tech ambitions and leaving the nation more isolated than ever before? To understand the global scramble, you have to know what goes into an AI chip. These are the most complex devices ever made, packed with billions of transistors and requiring ultra-precise lithography. But before manufacturing, you need a global supply chain of rare materials, gallium, cobalt, lithium, and massive, stable energy supplies. Without these, production grinds to a halt, making mineral sourcing a matter of national strategy. AI chip fabs run 24/7, consuming as much electricity as a small city. Even a brief power blip can ruin millions in product. As climate concerns grow, clean and reliable energy is now a must for the industry. The need for rare minerals and huge energy is the industry's Achilles heel. No matter how smart your engineers, without these, you can't compete. Control over minerals and energy is now a central battlefield in the US-China tech rivalry. Amid the US-China tech clash, Canada has quietly become a critical player. Canada's vast reserves of lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite are exactly what US tech needs to break free from Chinese supply chains. As the US seeks alternatives, Canada's stable democracy and proximity make it the perfect partner for a secure North American tech supply chain. The Canadian government is investing in mining and processing, positioning itself as a key supplier for the new tech economy. Canada also boasts abundant, clean hydroelectric power, ideal for energy-hungry chip fabs. This dual advantage of minerals and green energy makes Canada a one-stop shop for the tech industry's foundational needs. Once seen as a supplier of old-world commodities, Canada now sits at the heart of the digital economy. Its resources and energy are central to the future of artificial intelligence. America's tariff strategy, designed to protect its tech sector and strengthen domestic innovation, has instead created a host of new challenges for its own companies, both large and small. Tariffs on Chinese components have sharply raised costs for US firms like Nvidia and Intel, squeezing profits and forcing them to pass higher prices onto consumers. These companies, which rely on global supply chains for critical parts, now face difficult choices about where to source materials and how to remain competitive in a rapidly changing market. The 15% revenue levy on China sales has backfired. China is now actively avoiding US chips, pushing its own firms to develop homegrown alternatives. This shift is accelerating the growth of China's domestic tech industry and eroding US market share in a region that was once a major source of revenue. Intel, already struggling with fierce global competition, now faces rising costs and stiffer rivals abroad, making the dream of a revitalized US chip industry harder to achieve. The company's financial losses are mounting, and its ability to invest in future technologies is being compromised. Stock prices are volatile. and the policy meant to shield U.S. tech has become a source of risk and uncertainty for investors, employees, and the broader economy. The globalized, efficient supply chains that powered Silicon Valley's rise are being disrupted, leading to delays, shortages, and increased operational complexity for U.S. tech firms. Companies must now spend more time and money reworking supply chains and managing trade risks, diverting precious resources away from research, development, and innovation. Instead of fostering growth and confidence, tariffs have created a climate of caution and hesitation, making it harder for startups and established firms alike to plan for the future. The result, a noticeable slowdown in U.S. tech progress, with unintended consequences rippling through the industry and threatening America's long-term leadership in technology. The U.S. tariff turmoil has handed Canada unexpected leverage over both America and the global AI industry. As U.S. firms scramble for secure, non-Chinese minerals, Canada's resources have become vital strategic assets. America's push to reshore its chip industry can't succeed without Canadian lithium, cobalt, and gallium. This dependency gives Canada a powerful negotiating position, influencing trade, environmental policy, and cross-border deals. U.S. tech firms are now investing directly in Canadian mining and processing, helping Canada move up the value chain. Canada offers stability and reliability in a chaotic trade environment, making it a safe haven for critical resource investment. The more unpredictable global trade becomes, the more valuable Canada's position grows. Quietly, Canada now holds subtle but undeniable influence over the future of AI. U.S. tariffs have forced a dramatic reorganization of global supply chains, sending shockwaves through industries worldwide and prompting companies to rethink their sourcing strategies. The old model, chasing the lowest cost, often in China, is over. Factories that once thrived on cheap labor and mass exports are now facing closures and uncertainty. Now, companies scramble to build resilient, geopolitically safe networks, prioritizing flexibility and risk management over pure efficiency. Front-loading is rampant. Ports like Los Angeles are seeing record imports as firms rush to beat new tariffs, leading to congestion and logistical headaches. The focus has shifted from just-in-time to just-in-case, with higher costs accepted for greater security. Companies are stockpiling inventory to avoid disruptions, even if it means tying up more capital. Investment is pouring into stable regions like Mexico, Vietnam, and especially Canada, as firms diversify their manufacturing bases and seek out reliable partners. AI-driven supply chain software is booming, projected to soar from $2.7 billion to $55 billion by 2029. These digital tools help companies predict disruptions and optimize routes in real time. Some U.S. reshoring is happening. GE Appliances is moving production home, creating jobs but also raising consumer prices. This shift signals a new era for American manufacturing, with both opportunities and challenges. The world is fracturing into new economic blocs, with countries like Brazil and China forging closer ties in response to U.S. protectionism. These alliances are reshaping the global trade landscape. Supply chains are now redrawn by politics as much as economics, with long-term consequences still unfolding. The future of global trade will depend on how nations and companies adapt to this new reality. Trade wars and tariffs have real consequences for everyday Americans. Reshoring has created some new U.S. manufacturing jobs, reviving communities and fulfilling political promises. But for many workers and small businesses, tariffs mean higher costs and tighter margins, sometimes even closures. Small businesses face a $202 billion annual hit from pricier imports and complex compliance. Consumers are paying more for everything from electronics to bananas as companies pass on tariff costs. Even brands like Coach warn of price hikes and squeezed profits. Farmers are caught in the crossfire. Retaliatory tariffs and delayed grain deals have hit U.S. exports and prices. A tariff aimed at one sector can hurt another, with effects rippling through the economy. The result: higher prices, job uncertainty, and a more fragile economic landscape for all. The race for tech supremacy is redrawing global alliances. The U.S. is building a coalition of trusted partners, like Canada, to create a secure, China-free tech ecosystem. China, meanwhile, is rallying the global South and BRICS nations, offering investment and an alternative to the Western order. The world is becoming bipolar, with countries forced to choose between Washington and Beijing. Middle powers like Canada and Brazil now have new leverage, able to shape the competition. Canada's minerals and energy make it indispensable to the U.S. Brazil, hit by tariffs, is pivoting toward China. Even neutral countries like Switzerland are being drawn in, as US tariffs threaten their own interests. In this new era, control of resources is as crucial as technological know-how. Canada's rise shows that what's underground can be as important as what's coded in a lab.